I talked to the president after we passed the bill, but the next morning when I spoke to him, he said, you know, when the bill passed last night, the health care bill, I was happier than I was the night I was elected president of the United States. Wow. I said, well, I was pretty happy last night too, Mr. President, but I wasn't happier than I was the night you were elected president, because if you weren't elected president, we wouldn't be having this victory right now. He was hard, because it's a struggle, because we were up against those who refused to rein in the insurance companies. That was the big difference. We could all talk about agreeing on ending prohibitions or insurance for those with pre-existing conditions. But you can talk about it, but it doesn't work unless you do something about reining in the insurance companies. So it wasn't about disagreeing in rhetoric. It was about disagreeing on reining in the insurance companies. And that's something we have with all of the pillars of the president's budget of last year. Just so you know how what we are doing today fits in to a grander plan, and you all know that because you're involved in all of it. When the president was inaugurated, he said we will harness the sun, the soil, and we will to fuel our cars and run our factories. A week and a day later, we passed a recovery bill that did just that. It did many more things, but it invested in green energy, clean energy jobs for the future. 100 days after the inauguration, we passed the president's budget, passed in the Senate on the same day. That's historic just in itself, in the same day. And in that bill, the president had a blueprint for economic stabilization to go into the future. It was about lowering taxes for the middle class, reducing the deficit, creating jobs around three pillars. Investment in health care, first among equals. That is a job creator. It was about investments in innovation and education, and it was about investments in clean energy and addressing the climate change issue. Well, when we passed the health bill, we also passed most of the education bill, so we were 2 steps down the road. And now we must follow up with the action taken by the House last June to pass Waxman-Markey. That was historic legislation. Everyone was coming to see Waxman and Markey. They were the rock stars of it all because they had passed that legislation. The Senate is very close with your advocacy. I think we can pretty soon put legislation on the president's desk, and that would be very important to our national security, to our children's health, to our innovation and our competitiveness as being number one, and to our moral responsibility in regard to the planet. So I'm very pleased that you are honoring Mr. Waxman and Mr. Markey getting an award. I was proud to get it last year, and I thank you for that. George Miller here today, yes, the Employer Free Choice Act, he's the leader on that, but also in healthcare and in peace. America's progress has always been built on the ingenuity of the American people, and that's why this conference theme, investment, innovation, action, is so important. To see here such a cross-section of people from labor, from the environment, from business. This is good for business. Green is gold. And if we can't, in our initiatives, attract the private sector, we will not be successful. So we all have to work together. That's what we did with Waxman-Markey. That's what's happening in the United States Senate. Senator Kerry, Senator Boxer, Chairman Kerry, Chairman Boxer, and I'm very proud of Lindsey Graham. I probably shouldn't say that because that might get him in some trouble. In any case, understand how important, know your power in all of this, because nothing grand of this scale happens without your advocacy on Capitol Hill. You have been leaders in shaping policy. You have been leaders in working with your constituent groups. And again, Nothing is more eloquent to a member of Congress than the voice of his or her own constituents. So as you come here representing people from all over our country, you are making the difference. We are grateful to you for that. And we are grateful to it, whether it was about health insurance and education and taking money from the banks and giving it to families and lowering their cost of interest and the rest. And we're grateful to you on another subject that you're going on, reining in Wall Street. We will pass legislation that has an impact on everything that we are doing. Again, the President's 3 pillars, education and innovation, climate change and energy, and health care. That's all great. Lower taxes, reduce the deficit and the rest. But everything is about creating jobs. And never again can we have a situation where recklessness on Wall Street creates joblessness on Main Street.